All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number 1 from Road America. Indy Kirchenbauer, Patrick Pieper on the front row, Swafford and Jason McCall on the second row, Vern Spring, Brian Hewitt on the third row, Ryan McDaniel, Austin Ruskoff round out the field. Smaller than usual field here tonight. Hopefully we have more cars in for Crandon. Standing start. Looks like there may have been a problem with Ruskoff. Waiting to see if he'll get back in time. Barney the Flagman stands at the ready. Don't forget to check out his Twitter account. It is often hilarious. Alright, they are getting lined up. Austin is at the ready. Everybody stacked up. Barney stands ready up above. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away at Road America. And Patrick Pieper nailed the start. Everybody stacked up. The top 5 all nose to tail. Swafford and Kirchenbauer side by side for second. Indy pulls ahead. Ryan McDaniel goes wide. Back behind, he slips back into 8. Austin Ruskoff sneaks by into 7. The long straights here does give the drivers behind a bit of an advantage. They can get a good draft and a good head of steam heading into these sharp corners. Could see a little excitement as they go into that left-hander preparing to go up the hill. Few drivers go wide and you see dust flying. That's going to be a problem for the drivers back behind. We've been talking about it for about a month now, especially on Sunday mornings with GT3 NSS. That debris, the new debris model iRacing has had an impact on road courses. Vern Spring has had a problem. He has gone to pit road. Ryan McDaniel also had a problem back behind. We'll take a look after the first lap at some of these lap 1 incidents as we have a 3-car battle for the lead. Pieper holds on to it for the moment, but man, Indy and Swafford making him work for it. Jason McCall not far behind. Brian Hewitt back in 6th. Austin Ruskoff in 7th. Ryan McDaniel heavily damaged in 7th. Vern Spring off track. Vern Spring has gone to the garage. Hopefully we'll see him back out here before the end of the night. Through the final turn, up the hill. And it's looking like Pieper's got enough of a gap here. Patrick Pieper will lead lap 1. Let's take a look at those lap 1 incidents. Here's Ryan McDaniel as he comes off into turn 1. An easy turn to overshoot. We see it every time we come to this track. He does get it back going. A few moments later, coming down the hill in that hard left-hander, Jason McCall massively overshoots the turn, but gets it gathered back up. Ryan McDaniel coming down the straightaway. Gets loose out of the kink. Slams that inside wall. And Vern Spring just coming over the top of the hill. Goes a little too wide. Gets the grass and smacks the wall. I do believe his engine let go. Patrick Pieper and Indy Kirchenbauer still battling up front. Justin Swafford has lost some ground now. McCall up into third. And it looks like it's going to be a two-car battle for this one. Indy gets a little squirrely there. Pieper, whoa, kicks it out a little bit, but holds on to it. Pieper really hanging that back end out tonight. We saw Indy doing that a lot last week. Apparently these drivers have found the trick to finding speed in a street stock. It's drifting. Pieper still has the lead. Indy in second. We've got a tight battle for third. Swafford back to the inside as they go into turn one. And Swafford now back into third, but Brian Hewitt back in fifth. Just set the fastest lap of the night. That is the fastest official lap of the night because the other drivers have had an off-track or something happen that has disqualified their lap from being the fastest as Indy goes to the inside. Pieper hangs it all out. Coming up the hill, he's got the outside line, drifts it big time. Still side by side as they go into the carousel. Indy will have the momentum advantage here in a moment. Man, that almost banged doors there. As they come out of the carousel onto the long straight, headed toward the kink. Indy gets the nose ahead. Now Pieper is the nose ahead and clears back into the lead in the kink. Now Pieper hangs it all out again. Vern Spring is back out on track, but has come back into pit road. Justin Swafford in third has pulled a 2-second gap on Jason McCall in fourth. Brian Hewitt still holds on to fifth. Austin Ruskoff has slipped back into sixth. Ryan in seventh. Ryan has still not been to pit road to repair that car. As the battle for the lead is back on into turn one. Pieper stays ahead, but Indy keeps the nose inside. Pieper trying to keep Indy pinched down through the turn so he can't gain the momentum It works that time, and Pieper maintains the lead, but he is really having to push that car. How much longer can he hold the kid off? Ryan still has not brought that car to pit road. Also, Vern Spring is back out on track, just ahead of the leaders. The lap car could come into play in this battle. Oh, you can see the line. Indy goes through the grass. Now Swafford has the fastest official lap and is closing down on the leaders, but almost 3 seconds behind Indy. He's really going to have to pick it up here. Vern just ahead of the leaders. Ryan McDaniel has had another problem back behind. Vern goes wide. Pieper gets by. Will Indy be able to get by the lap car as quickly and easily? And it looks like that is the checkers. Patrick Pieper will win race 1. Let's take a quick look at Ryan McDaniel's crash a moment ago. There's Ryan's car already with heavy damage on the brakes, and the car just snaps loose, but he gathers it up. Justin Swafford comes home in 3rd, Jason McCall in 4th, Brian Hewitt in 5th. Austin Ruskoff in 6th, Ryan McDaniel in 7th, Vern Spring in 8th. Swafford's just out getting some drift practice in while they wait to advance on to race 2. They start as they finish. Patrick Pieper, Indy Kirchenbauer on the front row. Justin Swafford, Jason McCall on the 2nd row. Brian Hewitt, Austin Ruskoff have the 3rd row. Ryan McDaniel and Vern Spring round out the field. Here we go, green flag, and oh! Pieper gets a good launch. He got off so good it almost turned the car into that wall. Close call, but he keeps it straight. Down into turn 1, Swafford looks to the inside for 2nd place. And looks like Swafford may hold on to 2nd. Comes back up ahead and shuts the door on Indy. Brian Hewitt already up into 4th. Pieper has a bigger lead than we saw all throughout the last race. Every everybody hanging it out on the first lap once again. McCall has reclaimed fourth from Brian Hewitt. Austin Ruskoff back in sixth. Ryan in seventh. Vern in eighth. Man, I have never seen anybody at Road America hang the car out like they are here tonight. Most of the cars that race here, your GT3s, your NASCAR cars, have much stiffer suspension and react really, really badly when they touch that grass. Looks like these guys in these street stocks with softer tires, softer suspension, can hang it out a little bit more. Indy shoots way low. Cuts over. Swafford back to the inside. What a gutsy move by Indy. Let's take a quick look at that move again. There's Indy, third in line. They head off into that turn. He tries to cut it low, gets the run, but has to check up to not go too wide. And Swafford able to reclaim the spot. I doubt we see that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that move again tonight. Hey, good evening, Becky. How are you? Let's take a quick look at some of the lap one incidents. Jason McCall had a bit of a problem. Looks like headed toward the carousel, just goes a bit wide. Ryan McDaniel, a couple of cars back, looks like he did the same thing. Very, very wide, and Brian Hewitt had a problem. Hewitt also did go a bit. No, he just gets loose out of the turn, spins it, just gives the wall a little love tap, and gets going again. Yeah, Becky, I actually saw a picture earlier tonight of snow in Florida. That's gotta be weird. Heeper still out front by almost 2 seconds over Indy, who is finally taking second back from Justin Swafford in third. Jason McCall in fourth. Austin Ruskoff, Vern Spring battling. Vern goes a little bit wide, goes around. Holy cow, that was close. we can see this one. He checks up to get into the turn without going too wide. Just barely clips the grass. Fortunately, Austin saw it coming. Riding along with Austin Ruskoff. They head off into the turn. Vern goes to the outside. Austin just barely able to get on the brake to avoid it. Wow. And Vern Spring has had another problem back behind. Vern headed down the hill to the 90-degree left-hand turn, gets on the brakes, back in, steps out, gathers it back up, keeps it pointed the right way. Vern just showing off his drift skills. Now remember, they will have to make a fuel stop at some point as Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. Ryan trying to stay ahead of Ruskoff. Into the right-hander, the back end just steps out. Austin, oh! Hewitt barely avoids it. We almost got to see another example of Brian versus Ryan there. Ryan headed down. He sees Austin as he comes through the turn. Sees Ryan able to adjust, go wide, and avoids trouble. Well, one thing's for certain, folks, they're putting on a show, and we're going to have a lot more YouTube shorts out this week. Becky, hope you guys stay warm. Patrick Pieper has a 2.5 second lead on Indy Kirchenbauer. Swafford still lurking on Indy's bumper. Jason McCall now in fourth. There's a big gap on Austin Ruskoff. Brian Hewitt into sixth. Vern Spring back on the attack, up to seventh. We'd likely see Vern battling in the top five if not for those earlier incidents. He is very good in these cars and pretty good at this track. Pieper's lead holding steady at 2.5 seconds. Austin Ruskoff in fifth. Brian Hewitt about 2.5 seconds back himself, but Looks like Hewitt is starting to gain some ground on Ruskov. Meanwhile, Ryan McDaniel has picked the pace up. He's about 1.25 seconds behind Vern. Vern is starting to gain ground on Hewitt. Hey, good evening, David. How are you? Pieper starting to gain ground on, or pull away from Indy again. Now 2.7 seconds is the gap. Indy has put some breathing room between him and Swafford. Swafford now about 1.7 seconds back in third. Meanwhile, Ryan has reclaimed seventh from Vern. Vern had an incident a moment ago. We saw Vern had been picking the pace up a little too much, overshoots the turn, does get it straightened out, back on track, but again loses a position to Ryan. Patrick Pieper has come to pit road. Indy Kirchenbauer takes the lead. Folks, don't forget to stick around. Race 2 starts shortly after this one, and we're going off-road racing at Crandon. I've been talking about this race for weeks. This is the one I have been the most excited for all season long. Jason McCall, Austin Ruskov, Brian Hewitt, Vern Spring, all on pit road. Indy Kirchenbauer, Justin Swafford, and now Ryan McDaniel have stayed out. Hey, good evening, Richie. Why aren't you out here? We should see the top three currently on pit road next time. Patrick Pieper has just come off pit road. Looks like Pieper may have gotten a penalty. He had a very long stop. Jason McCall is out of pit road. Brian Hewitt, Vern Spring, and Austin Ruskov come off pit road less than 2 seconds apart. Indy swings it wide as he heads toward the final turn. Vern has gotten back to the bumper of Brian Hewitt. Indy Kirchenbauer is in for his stop. Swafford also coming in. Should see Ryan in here in just a few moments. Will Pieper be able to overcome his pit stop problems? Austin Ruskov closing up on the bumper of Vern Spring and Brian Hewitt. That group is tightened up. Now less than 1.5 seconds apart. Ryan McDaniel heading through the final turn. Should see him go. Yep, he is headed in. Indy Kirchenbauer on his way out, as is Justin Swafford. Patrick Pieper, a long way away. Andy Kirchenbauer has won the vast majority of the races this season. The only one who can stop him tonight is Justin Swafford, but Indy is pulling away. Jason McCall back in third, almost 30 seconds back. Patrick Pieper 8 seconds behind him. He is closing in, but will he be able to get there? Well, Richie, that's understandable. Of course, you could go trucking tomorrow night. Sorry, I was laughing as soon as it came out of my mouth, buddy. If I get enough work done tomorrow, I may even go trucking as well. Swafford starting to close in just a little bit. Now 2.1 seconds back. Whoa, Swofsky hanging it all out. McCall back in third. Pieper still closing in fourth. McCall may be able to hold on to third if they get the white flag here. White flag flies one more time around. Indy's lead 2.25 seconds at the moment. McCall back in third, only 5.5 seconds ahead of Patrick Pieper. At the moment, Pieper is the fastest car on track, trying to make up for the mistake on pit road. Vern Spring now up into sixth, just ahead of Ruskoff. In seventh, Ryan McDaniel after pit stops in eighth. Brian Hewitt still up in fifth. Hewitt has a 2-second gap on the battle behind as Ruskoff looks to the inside off into one. Whoa! Vern gets the crossover! Vern holds on to six with the crossover move. That was beautiful. See if we can find another angle. Here's the move by Ruskoff. Down to the inside as they go off into turn one. Vern just gets on the brakes a little sooner. Slips by to the inside. Ruskoff goes a hair wide, and Vern takes it. Jason, you're not wrong. It might as well be Indy's tutorials. Because out of the final turn, Indy has a 3.3 second lead. Up the hill one last time. Indy Kirchenbauer wins again at Road America. Justin Swafford comes up the hill in second. Now the question is, can McCall hold off? Oh, Pieper goes too wide. Pieper hanging it all out, but it doesn't look like he'll have the momentum. Nope, Jason McCall will come home in third. Does not look like we have McCall available, but we do have our top two, starting with Justin Swafford. Swafsky, that was one heck of a run. I think you're all racing for second when Indy's on a road course.
Yeah, that seems to be the same case scenario every week.
It was definitely one heck of a battle during the first race, but really in that second race, from the start, you three had a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I kind of jumped ahead of Indy on the initial start, and I was kind of happy. It was like, ooh, I got second, but them two are too fast. It, sucks for Patty. I think he ended up getting a penalty, so it would have been cool to race out with him. But congrats to Indy on that win.
Well, man, great job. Another podium, and looking forward to seeing you play in the dirt.
Oh, can't wait for it. We'll spring it on.
Swafsky comes home in second, and once again, Indy Kirchenbauer in victory lane. Indy back on top, back in victory lane. A few close calls in the early part, but it didn't seem to matter at the end.
Every time I felt like I could gain on Pat, he would just pull away from me in a couple corners, and the speeding penalty was really the only reason I won. Pat was faster than me, so I got lucky there. And but it's a really fun race, and I'm super excited for Crandon.
You and me both, buddy. Congratulations. You've obviously had a very dominant season. Looking forward to seeing what you can do at Crandon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
Indy Kirchenbauer, very few words. He does his talking on the track. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments. We're going off-road racing at Crandon. I'm excited. You should be too. This is going to be awesome. Stick around, everybody.